I like it too. But Mark, you weren't here when it went through 6 months of not filling for like a minute. In the winter, sometimes it can be tricky. Everything is crazy. That's the truth. Everything changes and then goes back and then changes, comes back. All the big ones, anyway. That's why I'm always surprised when the bank reports lose impact. I can't understand why a bank report loses impact. It just doesn't seem possible, but it happens. Or sometimes they're just trend trades. They're not events like they used to be. Okay, thanks, Chantal. Okay, everybody, welcome to the WASDE report, 10-minute trades trade room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-minute trades. Remember that all trades discussed are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. So trade carefully, please. All right, we're here for WASDE. So WASDE is an interesting report. It's a report that we won't know what the news is. You could go to the Department of Agriculture's website and wait around for the news. It comes out pretty quick after the report. But by the time you do that, there won't be a trade. The trade would be over. And it would also be kind of tricky to try and analyze the report. It's a pretty extensive report. It has a lot to do with acreage that they're planting, lots of things that are really helpful to farmers, I think, and not so relative to suburban and city people other than for trading. But it's been a report. We've been involved with this report for years and years and years. I didn't find it. I believe my boss found it. And there's another version of the report that's going to come up next month, or actually the end of this month, the quarterly grain report, which is virtually a WASDE on steroids sometimes. Very often it's just like the WASDE, but sometimes it's more impactful because it's a quarterly report. So one thing to keep in mind, we do find in general that the WASDE is more impactful in the spring. Sometimes we see events that just take place and act the way they want no matter what. It's just, I mean, when you look at oil, when you look at gas, those reports, they have impact seemingly no matter what the market did, no matter what the market's going to do. And WASDE is pretty impactful. But there have been times, I remember, where we changed our cancellation rules on the WASDE because we were canceling trades early, before the news came out. And you say to yourself, well, how do I know when the news comes out? It's tricky because the WASDE report is not on any of the calendars. The results also are normally not on Financial Juice. So basically, the way that we know that the WASDE has come out is with a move in the index, corn and or soybeans. So it's kind of tricky because of that, but it's also generally impactful. So you know when the report has been released. So what we found, though, is that we went through a period, and it was months, where there was no impact for more than a minute. And sometimes, and our cancel, if you look at the DMM, and I believe that most of these strange results started taking place after the crisis hit the world. Okay. And because a lot of things changed dramatically, definitely when the crisis got here. So see, WASDE has a 20-second cancel. I don't cancel WASDE. I won't cancel this report. I will trade it until it responds. Now, it might cost me a dull report. It might cost me a loser because I should have canceled, but generally it's going to have an impact, and there's really no reason to cancel. Sometimes the news just doesn't get out there because it's released differently than, there's no websites to get the news from, like noinvesting.com, FX Street, Econoday, Forex Factory. Investing.com, maybe more than a year ago, started putting the WASDE on the calendar, but they never did anything beyond just putting the word WASDE on the calendar. So I want to show you something interesting before we look at the report very seriously. I could see corn is starting to have a party already. I think what I want to do first is let me set my trades up early so that they're ready to go. But I'll show you one video first because it has to do with the way that I set up the WASDE. So in April, something pretty unusual happened. I started setting up both a corn and a soybean trade because I wanted the opportunity to be able to choose one or the other at the last second if there was unusual volatility in the index before the trade. And so watch what happened to corn. Corn's on the left. I hope this is the right video. I've had a hard time finding this video. Otherwise, I'll have to describe it, but I think this is the right one. Okay, watch corn. If I remember correctly, it's going to really act like the news was released early. That's what appears to happen. Okay, so corn, it's volatile, not anything yet. Okay, it's starting to get a little bit nervous. Then it stops. I hope this is the right one, or I'm going to be foolish. Yeah, it is. Okay, so see what it did? That looks to me like a news report came out. I immediately switched over to soybeans because we call that a trip to cancel. That's what my boss calls it, a tripwire to cancel. I just call it an unusual move before the report that just makes the market possibly unsafe. So I canceled it, and I wound up trading soybeans that day, and they worked very well. The irony of the whole irony is that even if you just ignored that crazy pre-move, which is hard to do, because our rule set says if you get a move that looks like that, that's seemingly unsafe, okay? seemingly unsafe. And when you have a move that makes an index seemingly unsafe, then you don't necessarily want to trade it. So I moved over to soybeans. The irony of ironies, as I was saying, is corn still worked that day. Even with that crazy move, if you just put your trade on normally, as we always do, the report still had a normal impact and it worked fine. But that's what we call, generally, it's a warning to not trade. If the oil report, if CL did something like that, I would cancel my trade. I mean, it's just the way we do things historically. But here, because I had an opportunity to trade another index, because this report has two setups, I could go right over to soybeans, and we traded soybeans and they worked. Ironically, corn was fine. So that's why on the WASDE, I am going to set up two trades. I don't anticipate having to change, but I want the opportunity. And yes, Mark, the tick is 1250. Corn and soybeans are like the mini S&P, 1250 a tick. Keep in mind with corn and soybeans and the grains that if there's a massive move, they call it limit up and limit down, the market will halt trading. So the concept is you never want to hang around very long in a WASDE trade, especially if it's a huge move. And you never want to be too greedy on your targets, because if there is a limit up or a limit down move, and it has to be really big. I mean, but we've seen it happen at least twice this year, which I think we went years without ever seeing it previously. The market actually halts. You can't get out. And listen, I'm not trying to scare you, because here's the interesting part. And you have to wait until the market opens again. What's interesting, though, is when it happens, something like 75% of the time, you'll wind up getting out, even sometimes the next day, because you can't get out. And it'll be a better profit than what you would have had just taking a normal trade. More often, you'll wind up getting out higher or lower than where you got in and in the direction that you got in. Now, obviously, nothing is always, right? Nothing is always, ever, with trading. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up my soybean trade. I prefer corn. It's less volatile, less whipsaws. But soybeans are good. They move pretty well. But I've noticed they've been a little bit whippy. And because of that, we've actually gone with a slightly bigger bracket. It's a bigger bracket than corn. The bracket's 8. I enter at 59. So my entry time is 11, 59, 59. Lately, we've been seeing, if anything, later moves rather than early. Now, I will make this live, but I will not enable it. Okay, because keep in mind, this is soybeans. I prefer trading corn. So I'm going to notate it, soybeans, but I'm not making it live. And I'll show you what the technique is if you need to change or if you want to change. So my bracket is 8. The stop is 12 on beans. And then my targets. So it's 2 contracts on the DMM. I generally trade 3 positions with WASDE, and I think most of you know the way that I like to trade. I like my first target to be within reason. I don't like to be greedy on my first target. So what I would do on soybeans, and I do anticipate a smaller move today. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I would anticipate, a smaller move, because we're getting out of the warmer months, and I don't think it's reasonable to expect massive WASDE moves every single report. So I think we should be prepared for a little bit more normalcy today. So, and it's been a strange little week. I mean, today was a little bit more normal. So a bracket of 8, I'm looking, and you can really modify these orders. You don't have to do the exact orders. Someone should do a 6, a 12, and a 19. Don't do exactly what I'm doing. I'm telling you now, it's better for all of us. What I do is a guide. It's not stone. It's not, you must do it exactly. Now, stops, whoops, where's my software? Stops, I think, are important. Where did my ninja go? Come on. Hang on one second. I apologize. Stops, I think, probably should be adhered to. Okay? I think stops should be adhered to. So I got to redo that because I idiotically closed my platform. So it was a bracket of 8. Okay, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I apologize. My computer just did something really crazy. Can you all hear me out there? Okay. So let me get set up. Now I'm behind, which I don't like to be. That's why I like to get here early. So let me just get my stuff set up. Hang loose. Okay. Let me get my DMM back. So I was showing you what I was doing, and if something's up with my computer and I can't trade, then I won't. So it better behave properly now. My soybean trade is a bracket of 8. I said I was going to do 3 targets, and I was going to do 6 or 7, 11, and I don't even have it etched in stone. Let's do on soybeans 6, 11, and 19 with a stop of 12. And my entry is 11, 59, 59. and it's a breakout. And what I was saying is it's real live, but I'm not going to enable it because I just want it to be there if I need it. Okay. So it's a bracket of 8, stop of 12, orders of 6, 11, and 19. Not really anticipating trading soybeans, but I want a backup trade. And then I'll double check my entry time, 11:59, so that when I enable the trade, which I'm not going to do, see, in this case, I don't have to worry about the time, okay? Because I'm not going to enable it. But I could check that my time is right by enabling it, make sure there's no fill, okay? Then I'm going to go over to corn. Corn is what I'm planning on trading. And let me put my video back on. We'll check our sync. I'm going to check my sync right now first by going to the website time.is. And you saw it's put me in sync. All right. And for corn, so I'm going to use a bracket of 6. And some of you can use a bracket of 5. The DMM calls for 5. Again, you don't have to do exactly what I do. And I'm going to make my middle contract an extra contract. And I'm trading 3 positions, 7. If this week had been 100% normal, I'd probably trade a little bigger. My third target is 25, which I think might be big. Might be too big for this particular trade today. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm looking for a less muted move or a more muted move than normal because we've had so many in a row and the time of the season lends itself to a little bit quieter response. And I could be completely wrong. It doesn't mean I'm right. And my entry time is 11:59:59. And remember what I said, that I won't cancel WASDE unless something doesn't look right, okay? If something doesn't look right, then I would cancel a trade. But if things look good and normal, and there's nothing unusual going on in the market, then I wouldn't cancel, okay? So I just checked my trade. I hit the check mark, my logo came on, and my corn trade is ready. Now, if corn all of a sudden shoots to the moon, right? Well, before the trade comes out, say, right? Then I would consider unchecking my trade and turning on my soybean trade. That's how you can move from one to the other. So you're saying to yourself, so why don't you just trade both at the same time? WASDE is a trade that sometimes requires management, meaning it doesn't always hit your targets. Yeah, I'm trading forward, David. It doesn't always hit your targets. I think maybe I said 3 positions. And if I said 3, I meant 3 positions. So what I was saying is, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? What was I just saying? I got distracted. I'm doing my time again just because I can. Management. I was saying why I don't trade 2 at the same time, both at the same time. Now, this morning, it was a little bit challenging to manage Canada and the PPI, although it wasn't bad because the PPI took us out of the trade, took most of us out of the trade immediately. Because it hit the targets, the trade was over. In the old days, we used to call that a bread and butter trade. I don't know why we called it a bread and butter trade, because the definition of a bread and butter, something that happens like in a bread and butter fashion, is something that is like great and happens over and over. And yes, that was a great trade, and it happens, sometimes they happen that way over and over. So I guess that's why we called it a bread and butter trade. I always used to think of it differently, like a bread and butter trade. It gave us money, so I used to think that it fed us. And that's why I called it a bread and butter trade. But I think when my bosses were here in the old days, doing things that I was doing, I think they called it a bread and butter trade because the definition is over and over, and it's a good thing. I'm having one heck of a time. I've got muscle cramps, computer acting crazy. So bear with me here. I had to just shoot my leg up to the roof. So we have a profit from this morning. WASDE, keep in mind, it's the kind of report, it may not respond immediately. It might not. I would like a nice big fat move, of course, we all would. Keep in mind all the things that I said. Don't hang around in a WASDE trade that long. They do have a tendency to reverse also. WASDE is a pretty good reversal trade. And there were times when we looked to really take the reversal trade with WASDE. There is a whole other, what's the word I'm looking for? You could do a whole news trading system trade room, just doing reversals if you wanted to. Because so often the reports do reverse. My DNA is I like to take the breakout I like to trade the event almost always and be done. That's my DNA. That's the way that I like to trade. There are really good reversal traders and or trend traders that are really good at trading the secondary moves. There are very, very often secondary moves. I always think that one day we'll spend a ton of time and do just secondary moves. That would be the way that we could get good at them, is by doing a month or two of secondary moves on every trade. And we do have tools that we have available. The squeeze, that's one of the reasons the squeeze is on my chart. The squeeze very often gives good secondary move signals. When the world crisis began and things were really difficult for a couple of months because the markets were so different, we did a lot of secondary move trading. We did a lot of squeeze trading. We had to really modify a lot of the way that we traded. Now, I want to thank a lot of the folks on YouTube for watching. If you'd give us a couple of likes, that would be nice. There's a lot of you on there. We really do a lot of streaming, and we would really love if you'd give us a like. It helps our account. It doesn't not feel like, it just doesn't feel like Friday to me today, I think because of the holiday. But I am glad it's the weekend. I don't know why I felt pretty stressed this week. Feels like a stressful week. At least for me personally, I have felt stressed. I'm trying to remember one trade. I just, it's like you do this. I do like a lot of trades every week. And most of the time, it's like, it doesn't affect me. I take the trade, it wins, it loses, it doesn't really matter. I don't worry before the trade. Every now and then, from a psychological standpoint though, and for reasons that I never will understand probably, I'll be filled with monstrous worry or fear, just like everybody is, for no reason on a trade. And you have to fight so hard to fight those feelings of irrational fear. Maybe it's rational fear. Maybe when you trade real money, it's completely reasonable and rational to have fear. But why do I go through 90% of my trades not even thinking about the worry? And then every now and then there will be a trade, and not even a specifically difficult one. It might be the most reliable one in the world, and I will just be filled with incredible trepidation. And it has, sometimes I think it has nothing to do with trading. That sometimes, maybe you didn't sleep well that night, maybe something's going on in your life that's bothering you, that's, bubbling up while you're trading, because trading is so stressful in a sense to begin with. I really don't know. I mean, it's something I've just experienced. I'm sure a lot of you experience fear and worry. I don't think it's because, Chantal, I don't really think it's because I'm particularly worried about losing a particular trade, because we know you can lose any trade at any time. It is what it is. That's just part of what we do. But the greatest mystery is the psychology of trading. That is the greatest mystery, the biggest, hardest aspect of everything to master. And Mark Douglas was a master. And unfortunately, I guess he must have passed away. It must be 2 years at least. If you want to read some great books about trading psychology, Mark Douglas wrote some great books. I think his most famous one was Trading in the Zone, maybe? Trading in the Zone. But he was a great author. And I think that he changed trading. He was one of those people that he was an impactful event on trading. So corn is a little volatile. Which is normal. What's interesting is both indexes are not up a lot or down a lot. Neither. Usually, when we get here, one is up a lot, one is down a lot. It's usually not both of them similar. Very choppy, WASDE, very choppy. So I tried to get my order moved down, and my stop moved down. I couldn't, okay? I still made like $420. That's not bad, but I could have made more. If I had left my stop alone, if you're still in the trade, I don't think you can still be in the trade. I think you had to have been stopped out on a reversal. But remember what I said, if it keeps going in the same direction, you don't want to be in the trade much longer. But this move is not that big. It's not nearly as big as some of the previous WASDEs. But I'm extremely happy to make $420 on a Friday when I was filled with trepidation, but I didn't want to tell you all. Now, I would probably exit my trade. I don't want anybody to get stuck in this market. Exit the trade, folks, if you're still in it, just because I don't think it's anywhere close to limit down yet, but I think you should get out, take your profit. Jody, did you trade live? Did you trade live? So Jody, if you traded live, you made more money than me on bad internet. So good for you. And I hope you can send me a picture of that. So tell me, let's get a roll call. Who made money? Who made money? Who made money? Mark, beautiful. Albert, awesome. Albert, you traded both. Good for you, but it's risky. Just know what I told you is true. Sanji, beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. Sanji, nice. Mark, very nice. Mark, it was tough, wasn't it? It was a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a bounce. Eben, very nice. Eben, very nice. Greg, nice. One contract, $150. Way to go. That's awesome. So I hope everybody knows how to send me these pictures of your profits with the money showing up, right? Because I have a webinar next week, and this is the trade I want to show. Please send me a picture. Mark, you had an awesome day today. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice day. Very good to hear. Victor, nice to hear from you as well. So Victor, did you understand what I was saying in my email today? Did you understand what I was telling you? Okay, so there's no reason to panic about it. That's the most important thing. Albert, very nice trading day. Very nice trading day. This was an awesome day. Awesome day. Nimro, excellent. And 350 on the reversal. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now remember what I said. This is a big reversal trade, and it proved true. It proved true. Okay. TJ, very, very nice trade. Very nice trade. Everybody's going to send me pictures, right? You're all going to send me graphics of your screenshots, please. It really helps us. It really helps us with our webinars. Who else? Who else made money? Who else made money? Chantal, what were you trading? Were you just trading one contract? Jody, that's okay. That's your total. That's fine. That's fine, Jody. It's still awesome. It's still awesome. So we'll look at the video because this was not the easiest WASDE trade, and it reversed a little quick, and it made it hard for me to get my second target. It got tricky, and let me show you what happened. And the roll call is awesome today. I hope that nobody lost money. I have not seen anyone that lost money. So the best way to send a picture, Jody, is if you can, on my taskbar, I have the snipping tool. So what I do is I click the snipping tool, and then I click new, and I can hold down my left mouse button and draw around an area on the screen and then save it. And then I have a picture, a WASDE picture I can post on Twitter. Or I could put it in my Trade of the Week video for the Trade of the Week. Does that work for you, Jody? Do you know how to do that? In your Windows Accessories folder, you'll find the snipping tool. So here's how you put the account on. If you right-click in the control panel, the trade panel, right? If you right-click and go to Properties, Show Realized P&L when flat. Make sure that's checked, and then you'll see the money you made in this spot here. Okay? That will show you the money. That will show you the money. And if you don't send me your graphics, I'm not going to be mad at anybody. But it's an awesome thing for us. It really helps me. So if you can, I just really, really appreciate it. Now here's the video. So Jody gets a big congratulations. Second live trade. Is that second live trade, Jody? It's an awesome feeling when your first couple of trades are winners, because it's really scary when your first couple of trades are not. You get scared and you go, oh no, did I sign up with the wrong educator again? Right? You don't want to make the wrong decision. You don't want to make the wrong decision. But look, we had a couple of difficult We had a couple of difficult weeks. August was not the best. So what do? Keep trading normally, right? Maybe a little smaller till things get back to total. And I'm more conservative. People made way more money than me today, way more. So lesson number one, we didn't let corn, even though it wasn't very scary today, it tried to scare you out of the market a little bit. It had a little bit of pre-trade volatility. We told corn to take a hike. We didn't care, right? Didn't bother us. I agree, Jody. Trading in August is almost always a difficult month. So here's the trade. We don't know when the report comes out. So we just wait patiently for a move. The report's not out. You know now the news is out. It hit my first target, and I waited, and it hit my second target. But I couldn't get to my third because of that reversal. What a big chop. Do you see why it makes sense to make your second target double the size or triple the size? We didn't have to get to my third target to give me an extra bonus. I got that extra bonus by hitting my second target, right? Which was doubled. I doubled my second target in number of contracts. So I made an easy more than $400 even with a tricky little reversal there. Had you just let it sit, it would have hit all your targets, but you don't know that that's what's going to happen. So the smart thing usually is, grab your first two targets. If you just always grab two ticks and never more, you'll never make money. But if your first two targets get hit regularly, you can take some of that profit before you get stopped out. Because look, it reversed quite a bit before it hit that third target. It really did. It was a little bit tricky, a little bit. So it goes back to where I entered, and then it goes up quite a bit higher, not stopping me out though, I don't think. I don't think it would have stopped me out. And then it goes down, and then it comes back up. Then it starts going down, and then it reverses. Definitely a little bit of a tricky move on today's WASDE. Yeah, and break even after target one. Yep, because of that reversal was quick and a lot. The reversal was quick and a lot. And WASDE will do that. WASDE will do that. It was a little bit choppier than most of our WASDEs lately, but I really felt that today's WASDE would trade differently. Now, soybeans were not whippy at all, it looks like. Look at the move, not before the trade. When I say whippy, I mean before the trade. Now, they tried to scare you by going up before the trade, but then it got quiet and shot right down. But there might have been some extra slippage on soybeans that corn had less of today, okay? Chantal, that's fantastic. Chantal, that's absolutely fantastic. Everybody should read what Chantal is saying, because Chantal works for us, and there's no embarrassment that Chantal has not traded with us all the time, but she tests for us. And now she's trading with us more and more. And she had a fantastic week for a tiny futures account. She has a very small futures account. And she does have the ability not to get scared, okay? And she's experienced, so she can trade with a small account and do better than most people will do with a small account. There are always folks that can do well. Look at the reversal, right? That's why one day we've got to take the time and do it. It's worth it. It's worth it. What was I thinking? Kathy, do you need help? I'm losing my mind. Who needed help installing the software? Someone asked me for help installing the software. Was it you, Kathy, and you're okay? Or was it someone else? I had so many emails. It was someone else. Okay, that's why I was asking if you needed help. Let me look. I know who it was, and I do not see her in the room. So if you are in the room, you know who I mean. And if you need help, just ask. Okay? So everybody's okay. So everybody, no one had a losing trade this morning. I'm happy to hear, right? So we were 100% profitable on WASDE. There's no question that WASDE's been the report of the year. It's absolutely been our best trading report. Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer, was you. Yes, yes, yes. Did you get your software installed? You got the software installed. And I sent your first ID to get active. It should be ready later. And then I'll grab your second one. I don't remember if I saw your second one yet or not, but you'll be ready to go by the end of the weekend without a doubt. Okay. So good. It's easy to install the software, but I would have been more than happy to help, so it's no problem. So anybody else have any questions? You want to see next week's schedule? Here's a quick look at next week's schedule. Kind of quiet next week a little bit, not as busy as I thought it would be, but not bad, not bad, not bad. We have US retail next week. We've got, let's see, CPI, one of my favorite trades that has become a family money trade recently. Didn't used to be. CPI became an excellent trade. Don't know why, but it did. So here's what we got next week. Core CPI on Tuesday, API on Tuesday, crude oil, which I'm planning on starting to trade. I believe I'm going to start trading crude and natural gas. Natural gas may become a family money trade, folks, with certain rules. Australia jobs, New Zealand GDP. I'm having a trade room for that. It's a little bit different. US retail on Thursday, natural gas. And you know what? Preliminary University of Michigan is an inflation and a consumer confidence report. And it's probably worth trading in the test account. Chantal, you're asking me. Yes, there are more women now than ever before as members. It's fantastic. Fantastic. More people from overseas also, more international. I think we have more California also. A lot of California, West Coast, and younger people also. We're seeing more younger people like me, 80, 90. Born, I served in World War II. Any questions? Any questions before I go? So it's noon. It's Friday. We really had a very nice day. A little bit of tension, a little bit of worry about that Canada report. Maybe I'm trading a tiny bit too much. If, we're going to really follow the spirit of family money trades, maybe that Canada report should be traded, like my boss said, only when US jobs is trading. I think we'll have a better opportunity to make money on it because it moves better. So there are, my boss often has good suggestions that he makes to me when he yells at me, and I get yelled at plenty. I'm an imperfect person. No, that's not true. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. Not only am I perfect, I guess it's webcam time, right? To say thanks to everybody. Let me see if my webcam works. Can I get my webcam to work? Let's try it. I want to use my webcam as part of my recorder because I like that webcam better. And I can put it anywhere. So that's my webcam. That's me. Something happened to my hair. It got cut. See, this is the way I used to look. That's the way we used to trade. But then they came out with these little goofy headsets. See, I like these. I like these things. You just put it on your ear, and it's like you can't even see it. And the mics are great now, and they're fabulous. So I want to say hi to everybody, and thanks for making money with me. It was great today. It was awesome. Have a great weekend, everybody. Any last questions before we go? I do have 1,000 earbuds and headsets. I'm not kidding. I was looking for new ones today. I have at least 30 pairs of wireless earbuds. I'm a lunatic. It's like my hobby. I collect wireless earbuds. I love them. I just love them. Because I don't sleep that great, and I stay up all night listening to music using all different wireless earbuds. That's the truth. And I love them. I just really enjoy them. It's so much fun. All right, folks. Everybody that traded made money. What can be better? I can't think of a better way to end the week than with a little bit of money in your pocket and a smile on your face. So, Eben, you have a great weekend also. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll see everybody on Tuesday, and we'll continue our winning ways. All right. So here's the family money trades. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you later.